Hello, beautiful boss babes. Are you ready to chase life with Kelly? Well, I'm your host, Kelly Chase, and I'm so excited you're here. We are going to talk about all things love, dating, relationships, money mindset. We're going to dive deep into self-love, worthiness. I am going to bring on some incredibly empowering guests. We're going to have fun, we're going to laugh, and perhaps we're even going to shed some tears together. I am here to empower you, inspire you, and motivate you to create the life you crave. I am so excited for today's episode. Let's dive in. Hi, babes. Okay, I am bringing you another bonus episode because so many of you have been very interested in breathwork, and I have the queen of breathwork here with us today. Miss Samantha Skelly is joining us. She is the founder of Pause Breathwork. She's been working with the power of breath for 13 years now on her own healing and transformation. Her personal mission is to help the world expand, wake up, and live in a peaceful and abundant state while helping herself do the same. Here at Pause, we have a vision to make breathwork mainstream, and it starts with you. It starts with providing you with world-class training so you are empowered to serve humanity on a deeper level. It's not an accident you're here listening right now. You are a light worker who has the ability to shift nations and wake up the world in ways you never knew possible. Within you now is the ability to create incredible change for millions of people. She is committed to supporting you in unlocking your potential so you can be a vessel for change and expansion in this world. She is creating a ripple effect. She created a ripple effect within me. My first breath work was by Samantha Skelly, and I now have her on the podcast, and I'm so excited. Hi, Samantha.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me. This is so good.
Yes, absolutely. So Samantha and I first met. I would probably have been following her, through other mutual friends, Angie Lee, whomever, on social media for a little bit. And then, so I attended Pays to Be Brave, which was Angie Lee's event in 2018. Funny story, I was actually in the middle of filming Love is Blind during that event. And I told production, I was like, I have to go. Like, it's a work. I just said it's a work event and I had to go. I was like, I'm not missing this.
Oh, good.
So yeah. And Samantha did a breathwork workshop for us one morning, and it was so neat. It was so neat and so powerful and so transformative that obviously I then attended, had a breathwork session with one of her students, who is now a breathwork facilitator as well. And it's just been a very powerful tool. And just, every single time I do breath work, I have such powerful transformation and recognition in my body of like emotions that obviously, and you're going to explain this better, but the emotions that are stuck, they're just stuck down there. They've been suppressed, and things I probably am avoiding and not paying attention to, and the things that needed to be woken up inside of me so that I could actually feel. Because what's the favorite saying? You got to feel to heal.
There you go. That's the one. That's the one.
That's it. So yeah, it was very powerful. And I would love for you to explain what exactly breathwork is. Because I know obviously there's so many different variations, but what does pause breathwork teach?
Yeah, in its simplest form, we can breathe to survive or we can breathe to thrive. And so breathwork is a modality that helps us unlock our trauma and the places in our body that the mind can't get to, right? So if we want to feel better, we need to be better feelers. And in order to do that, we need to get into our body. And so breathwork is an ability to really cut through the mind, because the mind has all of these limitations and protectors and everything that stops us from expanding into everything that we are, right? All of our like perceived limitations and all of our doubts and all of our fears and everything. And so with breathwork, we're able to really cut through all of the noise so we can really get into our body. And so breathwork is a practice that we get to do every day, multiple times a day if you desire, in order to get back into that energy of true thriving, being in our bodies, opening up our hearts, clearing our minds. So we're not stuck in the noise of life, but we're really truly connected to the voice. And so that's the mission of Pause, is really helping people unlock their infinite potential using breath work. It's just a powerful modality.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Speaking of, I should probably do more of it. I could probably use a session soon. Okay, so how did you even get started yourself with breath work, and kind of take us on your own little life
Yeah.
story journey?
Yeah. So I grew up as a child actress. First of all, before I start to say that, I remember so clearly that morning of Pace Be Brave on the rooftop teaching breathwork. And that was like one of the I was just starting Pause then. Like that
Yeah.
was like one of the big, like my big like breakthrough events where I did it. And after I was like, oh my goodness, like this is so powerful. And it was just like, that was such a powerful experience. I'm so happy you were there. Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my journey, I started as a dancer. I was a dancer. I was a child actress. I was a stunt double for Smallville for 4 years. And so my whole life was either in front of a camera or on stage. And since the beginning of my memory, I feel like I had body image issues. I remember being like as young as like 10 or 12 and being in the bath and just looking down and being like, I really hate my body. Like I always had such an aversion to my body, even though, you know, I was an athlete. I still had like body dysmorphia and just always in a fight with my body, always in a fight with food. And so from the ages of 18 to 22, I was struggling with like really badly with disordered eating and body image issues and the whole thing. And I was doing every sort of mindset hack trick thing that I could possibly do. I was going to therapy, I was doing affirmations, I was doing all sorts of like cognitive behavioral therapy, and nothing was really getting into it. And so I was reading the book Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert, and she talks about that part where she goes to Bali and she finds that medicine man. And so I did that. I went there, and you know, I always say like breathwork found me. I didn't find it. I showed up at a yoga studio. It happened to be the next class that was on the agenda. And my intuition was like, you got to do that. And so I did that class. It was a 3-hour breathwork class. It felt like 15 minutes. The time just like flew by. And in that experience, I just remember shedding and releasing and crying and just like sobbing and like truly it felt like decades of trauma was leaving my body. And then simultaneously I was feeling like I was tapping into my power and my soul and my heart. And after the breath session was done, I just remember waking up from that experience and going, why does the whole world not know that we have the ability to do this? And so within 3 months, I was able to heal my eating disorder because I actually got into my body.
Wow.
And then I was just an avid student. Like I was obsessed with breathwork. I researched every single breathwork guru at the time. This was 13, 14 years ago, and just sent cold emails to people just being like, hey, you don't know me, but you're the best breathworker in the world. And can you mentor me? And so I ended up studying with some of like the greats at the time and just loving it and transforming my life. And then 2017, that's when I got the download to start Pause Breathwork. And then 2018 was when you and I met at that event. So, and then since then, we're now the largest Breathwork Academy facilitator worldwide. We have thousands of students all around the world in 27 different countries. And it's just been like the greatest gift of my life to be able to give this gift to other people and, you know, build an app where people can do breathwork every single day. And that's been a really beautiful venture as well. So yeah, that's my whole shtick is helping the world remember that in their breath, they can access their infinite potential.
Wow. Yeah. I love that. That gave me chills. That's so incredible. Congratulations on that. Yeah. That's so neat. Okay. So can you explain kind of what happens, like what your method is of breath work, what happens to you and what happens to your body?
Yeah, definitely. So we have a very gentle trauma-informed approach. So the intention is not to blow people out of their window of tolerance and make them never want to do breath work again, which some lineages do that, right? Some of them, like my first ever breathwork class, 3 hours, super intense. Luckily, I did a little bit of work before that, so I didn't get re-traumatized. But I really believe that transformation doesn't equal intensity. Like we don't have to go super, super, super intense and long in order to have a beautiful transformation. So the way Pause Breathwork does it is it's trauma informed, meaning we don't want to give people more than they can handle. So we really take like a slower approach, and everyone's system is so different, right? So when people get triggered, they do one of two things. They'll either go really anxious and they'll go into like hypervigilance and like go really, really, really fast, or they'll kind of collapse and go into a more of a depressed state. And so depending on everyone's different ways of how they deal with stress and how they deal with triggers, we can use breathwork to help support the system depending on where they are hanging out, essentially. So as far as like what is actually happening in the body, so what we're doing is we're adding more oxygen into the system. We're shifting the pH level of our body, which is shifting our perspective. It's activating our amygdala, and it's giving us a new way of viewing ourselves and viewing the world, which helps us not be so caught in our own experience, but allows our awareness to expand. We're also allowing the body to get out of that chronic sympathetic nervous system that so many of us are caught in constantly, right? It's like the hustle, the go, the grind, the quick, the go. We live in like this hyper speedy world constantly. So breath work helps stabilize us into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest, get more ground, more stabilization, more stillness, like letting the soul catch up with the body, right? Like allowing ourselves to be in those pockets of peace and in those pockets of pause, so we can actually navigate and feel into like what is actually best for us, what's true for us. And when we're constantly just busy, distracted, and we have so many seductive distractions everywhere, it's hard for us to actually hear ourselves and feel ourselves. And so the breath helps us essentially unhook from the mind, so that we can drop deeper into the body, so that we can clear away any emotion and any tension and any fear and any just noise in the system, so that we can find like that beautiful voice, which is the intuition.
Yeah, because most of us are just running on autopilot in our mind all the time instead of feeling. Actually, I want to say I brought the breath work up in the keynote that I did a month ago. And I was like, so many of us, because how it was explained to me, and obviously the experiences that I've had with breath work, it's like if I were to ask someone like, how are you feeling? We just quickly respond like, I'm good, I'm fine. And it's like, well, actually, if you were tapped into your body, you would be like, well, actually, and you would actually be able to say and express what is actually happening and what you're actually feeling. And I think so many of us, obviously, yeah, it's a quick chat, whatever the case may be, but we're also dismissing ourselves in those moments too, when I'm fine, everything's good.
Absolutely.
Everything's good. How are you? It's like, no, actually, I got a lot of shit going on.
Exactly. And just those moments of honesty and those moments of vulnerability are so freeing, because everyone feels it. It's like the world has never been quicker and never been more distracted and never been busier, and people are like stressed out because there's just so much going on, and there's so much stimulus constantly, like our phones and our work and our this and our that, like there's so much stimulus. And so there is like people's load is higher than their limit. And so there's no margin for peace and ease and play and fun and all the things, unless we choose to create it like that and be really intentional about, all right, I'm not going to let my load be more than my limit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like a really perfect frame of mind, like just to ask ourselves if we are feeling stressed out, like, okay, well, what's going on? Where's my attention? What are the things that are stealing my attention or stealing my life force that I can pull back from? And it could be scrolling on Instagram. It could be spending too much time watching TV. It could be gossiping. It could be being addicted to work. It could be so many things, right? So many things in our world where we think we're being productive, but really it's just eating away at our soul. And so just getting so clear on like, what are these behaviors? What are these addictions? What are these seductive distractions that are getting in my way of me being with myself? And that's one of the most powerful things that we can practice today, is being with us and just listening, right? Listening to ourselves, listening to our hearts, listening for divine intelligence, whether you use the word God or universe whatever word you use, but it's like, what is that divine intelligence communicating to you on a daily basis of your best next move and what to let go of and what to move into and what to create? There's so much wisdom there, but we can't feel in and extract that wisdom when we're in hyperspeed level 10 go 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 mode.
No, definitely not. Because again, that's like when you're in the avoidant and you're just dismissing everything because you're just so like, I want to say you're hyper focused, but you're kind of not. But you're so hyper focused on like one thing. I mean, I'm guilty of being a workaholic. I mean, I feel like years ago when I was in a workaholic state, I was doing a lot of things that were making me money, right? Like it was just a paycheck. It was just to make some extra money for to go on a vacation with friends. Nothing was like I had no purpose back then. So it was just everything was just like hamster on a wheel, go, 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 do, do, do. And then working these multiple jobs throughout the week. And then on the weekends, I was avoiding things with drinking and boys and staying up really late and just like never really ever sitting with myself. And I mean, I remember having a friend over one time and we sat on my couch for a second and I stopped our conversation and I was like, this is so unfamiliar to me. I said, because the only time I ever sit on my couch is to like fold laundry and like I'm doing something. Like I don't watch TV. I rarely was watching TV. I was really laying on my couch just to rest and to be. And like now I use it as self-care. Like I'll throw on a show and I mean, yeah, granted, there are days I'll binge watch something for 6 hours and I'm like, but I didn't do that 10 years ago. I'm catching up for lost time.
Totally.
But it's like
that's a form of self-care too. It's like if you feel recharged after that.
Right.
I like growing up in like a very entrepreneurial home and always, being like a high achiever outside of the womb. I always was like, I can't watch TV. It's a waste of time. And I'm like, no, actually, like I don't watch a ton of TV, but when I do, it's like my brain and my body need a break and they need to relax. And like, that's okay. And I give that to myself,
Absolutely. Yep. That's probably what I'm doing after we get done recording. It's funny because I've been, because I missed TV in my 20s, I'm like catching up on all these shows. Like I watched Gilmore Girls. I've watched Sex in the City now. I'm on a Gossip Girl now.
You're like, I'm late to the party, but at least I came.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But it's just interesting because now, again, I am in a little bit of the workaholic mode still, but everything is very intentional and it's aligned and it's purposeful and I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel heavy. And when it does start to feel heavy, I question it for a little bit. And I'm like, okay, is this like, why do I have this resistance? Is it because of, do I really not want to be doing this? Is there a different way I could be doing this? And I really try to assess before completely just being like, nope, that's not for me. And it's funny too, because I've had, the lovely shiny object syndrome that's been a part of my life for a long time. And even this year, I fell victim to that a little bit. And I joined some type of travel company, but it was more like on like a network marketing method, I guess, of like how they set things up. Their business model was on a network marketing. And I went ahead and joined because I was like, yeah, I totally want to travel and blah, blah, blah. Right. And then I'm like, you also work full time. You're also trying to do like grow your business. Like you have so many other things that would be more aligned for you than this. And if you really want to travel, God will gift you travel opportunities that are more aligned for you versus doing other things. I was like, okay. So immediately I was like, okay, you can like cancel this thing within 30 days. I like emailed them the other day. I'm like, refund me. I am done. I'm like,
just kidding. Psych. That was a joke.
Just kidding. Last shiny object going to be in my face. Like,
totally.
Kelly, like I have so much, like I feel like I have so much like untapped knowledge that I haven't shared with the world. And I'm like, Kelly, if you just show up as yourself and step into this empowered woman that walked across that stage a month ago, shit will happen for you.
100%. That's the way it works.
Yeah, it does.
It's like having that like inner belief, like I am the one. I get to do this. I get to step in this path. I get to listen to my soul. I
Mhm.
get to share my spiritual gifts. I get to be this person in the world. And it's so fun. Like I get to see people go through that transformation all the time. You know, I've trained and mentored thousands of people now to become breathwork facilitators. And so that's what that is. It's like they say yes to the program. It's like a leap of faith. And then like the 6 month journey is like really watching them day by day, moment by moment, step into who they are and like realizing that their gifts are magnificent and they are magnificent and what they are here to give to the world is magnificent. And then they're embodied in that. And then, you know, then they're just like unstoppable. It's so cool once we get out of our own way, like how
Yeah.
much untapped power and potential we all have.
Yeah, I love that. I get to. That's a great way to phrase it. I get
Yeah.
to do this. I get to do this.
Yeah.
Sending
Yeah.
back to gratitude. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
So I have a question, and I'm sure because my listeners probably will too. When you mentioned that you healed your eating disorder from breath
Mhm.
work,
Mhm.
can you share a little bit more into that? Like, yeah, can you share?
Yeah. Yeah. So my experience with having an eating disorder was a complete disconnection from my body. And so the two places that I was in during those days was numbness and anxiety. And so I'd feel numb and then I would like overexercise or overeat or restrict or whatever it was. And I just kept like messing with my food and my body in order to like feel different things. What breath work did was it allowed me to actually get into my body so I could tell the difference between what is an emotional hunger cue versus what is a physical hunger cue.
Hmm.
Right. And I began to be so devoted to honoring my body's needs, whatever it was. And so, like, I would feel like a sensation of like a craving or something was missing. And then I would just like get with myself and be like, okay, what is it that you actually need? Like, what are you really hungry for? What is going on? And then I'm like, oh, you know what? I feel like I need to slow down. I feel like I need connection. I feel like I need to feel alive. I feel like I need to go dance or swim or do yoga or have fun or watch a movie or whatever it was. And so it helped me like really discern the difference between like what is a true like hunger cue versus what is like an emotional hunger cue. And so it was this process of like coming home to my body and like getting to know myself on a level that I had never, because I just constantly overrode my needs with distraction and busyness and achievement. And you know, growing up as a dancer, growing up as a actress, child actress, a stunt double, a lot of my love came from my achievements. And so I made that connection very young in life, like, oh, if I get first place and I get a lot of attention, I get a lot of love. And so for me, this process of coming and learning breath work and like learning to love myself again was about understanding that I am lovable and I am perfect and I am amazing just because I am, not because of the things that I do or achieve. And so that was like an interesting path of like disconnecting from like external validation and making that mean anything about my worthiness.
Hmm. That is powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I like I'm like, yep, I need a lot more breath work.
You're like, give me a double scoop.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's an interesting because I mean, obviously, I study the subconscious too and how we create these stories for ourselves, and because it may not be that someone said these things, it's we associate. It's what our subconscious is associating with things. And for me, it was interesting. Like a year ago, I was working with a mentor and we kind of unraveled a lot of that story for me too. And it wasn't necessarily if I was achieving something because she had asked, she was like, is it like, were you in competition with your sister? Like a lot, like, competing for your parents' love, that kind of thing. And I said, no, I don't feel that way. But it was like me doing things as far as like being seen, like people, when people see me or when people know me, I'm loved or
Mhm.
I'm accepted. Like I did theater, I did, like I was on homecoming court, I did prom, like I was prom queen. Like it's like, oh, well, when I do these things, then people will see me. When
Mhm.
I do this, people will know who I am. Like even when like Love is Blind aired, and of course, I grew like to 400,000 followers in like 3 weeks. It was absolutely insane. And obviously did a number on my nervous system. It was a lot. It was a lot. But I was probably for a solid like 2 years. I mean, even now, sometimes I still struggle with this a little bit, but comparing myself to like the engagement of my castmates, I was like in my ego. I literally had this conversation with a guy friend of mine the other day, and because he mentioned something about a reel that I had created like a year or so ago. And I was like, honestly, there have been times that I've definitely created content online since that show rolled out of ego. Like 100%. I was like, I saw someone else do it. They got a bunch of engagement. And I was like, oh, it's funny. I'll do it too. And I was like highly impressionable. And I was like, I'm going to do that. But it never felt good, And it's like, wow, I got caught in that. Oh, well, if I do this, then people will see me and they'll remember who I am. In a sense. It was very interesting. So obviously, since I've had that conversation with this mentor, I have the awareness. Am I completely healed from that? No, but I have the awareness of when I'm acting out.
and the awareness is the medicine. The awareness is the medicine. My clients will often be like, okay, what do I do now? I'm like, the fact that you're aware of the pattern and aware of how that energy is working in your body, you're going to shift the energy. Like your consciousness is going to shift into like a new pathway that's more fulfilling because you're aware of what's not fulfilling, or you're aware of what's like the pathway of the ego. And that's the beauty of the intelligence of our bodies and how they work. Like our resting position, when we strip away all of it, is just like love, and light. And so our bodies will get back to what's normal once we heal the distortions of, wanting to be seen and doing it. Like being seen is a beautiful thing. It's actually a need of all of ours. Right? We all need it. But then the question is like, okay, well, what are the ways that I am being seen, and do those feel good? Right? Do those feel good? Like, for instance, you and I both love speaking on stage, right? That is a form of being seen, but it's a way that is aligned and it feels good because we're delivering a message that is important and we're getting the feedback from the audience of like, oh, that message is good. It's not like, hey, look at me on the stage. I'm showing off and teaching you how to do breath work. It's not that. The energy is different. So it's like honoring the fact that those needs are so pure, right? The need to be seen, the need to be heard, the need to be acknowledged, the need to feel connected, the need to, like, all of these needs are so amazing. So it's not about like shaming the needs, but finding different strategies to meet the needs.
I love that. Yeah, that was a very good way of putting that. You're right. Because, I feel like we all need to be seen. They are needs of ours. We all want that love and affection. Of course, we can't just only give it to ourselves. I mean, we need that. When you were talking about the like emotional eating, in a sense, or the emotional cues, I guess, around your eating disorder, I feel like that's so true. Like I know, like I'm that person that'll go into my refrigerator and look at it 5 times, keep open, close. I hope like nothing is gonna, like, the boyfriend's not gonna appear in the refrigerator, Kelly. Like
but what if he did, Kelly?
What if he did?
Oh my God, I found him in How'd you guys meet? He was in my refrigerator. I don't know what happened.
He was in there the whole time.
Oh my God, why didn't I look here first? It's so weird. Eric wouldn't fit in our refrigerator. He's way too he'd be in the deep freeze, but at that point he'd probably be dead, so maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. Oh my God, I love that. But yeah, it's really like, again, what you said about awareness too, just having the awareness to make those conscious shifts and just conscious, like, oh wait, it allows you to pause and reflect on the moment and just be like, okay, wait, how is this going to serve me? It's not, where is this coming from? Is this like a fear, some type of story that I've created over time for myself? And it's so interesting because I feel like even with my coaching business over the years, learning this information, there was a part of me, again, kind of probably going back to that, like feeling seen or almost like an imposter in a sense of like, well, I don't know exactly like sometimes like how I'm going to solve their problems, but I'm like, I just give them the tools so that they can have the awareness, and that awareness is the solution. Like that's the tool. If I
Mm-hmm.
could just help them unwind and, ask themselves those questions, when they get stuck in a moment, that's the solution right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
giving them, you're coaching them. You're not giving them the trophy at the end. You're coaching them with these tools and giving them tools so that people can, as you said, like tap into their infinite potential, really get grounded, make more aligned decisions, and let
Yeah.
go of shit that doesn't serve them.
Totally. People are so wise and genius when they're not stuck in their survival strategies.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like helping people see when they're stuck in a survival strategy and just bringing them back to truth over and over and over again to where truth then becomes their resting position and they're not caught in their story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone has the potential to do that, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So with breath work, I mean, obviously it's going to create a ripple effect in every area of your life. Do do people that come to you, are they more like entrepreneurs or entrepreneurial minded, and they're looking to like grow their business and they use breath work as a tool? Like how is
Yeah, so for our breathwork facilitator program, there's two types of people that take that. Number one, someone is already a coach, already a healer, already a facilitator, and they want to use breathwork to get their clients better transformations so that their business grows and they're, more profitable and they have a bigger business because ultimately the result of our clients dictates our revenue, right? So a lot of people come who are already mindset coaches, already health coaches, already wellness coaches, and they want to do more like somatic based healing. The second type of person that joins our program is someone who that hasn't necessarily been a coach before, but they've always known that they're here to help people. It's like the person that your family and friends always go to for advice. You've always in your heart known that you've wanted to be a healer, but you haven't found the right vehicle in order to actually bring your gifts to life. And so we call that like the aspiring coach or the aspiring healer. And so people who are on the path of desiring to do that, and then they take our 6-month training, and then after that, then they can start their business and start making money doing what they love. So those are the two types of people. And then on our app, it's kind of like a whole other different avatar. Most people who use our app use it to release anxiety, help them sleep, and kind of tap back into their power. So there's a whole range of different people with different desires that use the app.
That's neat. That's really neat. I
Yeah.
know. I'm like, there's parts, I mean, granted, I think both, I keep telling people, I'm like, I feel like there's like a missing thing with my business and like with relationships. And
Mhm.
I even journaled about it this morning. Like Erin always used to say this to me. She's like, "Kelly, you got like one hand on the edge of the pool still. Like you're still holding on to like this past life of yours. Like let go, jump into the deep end."
Let it go. Let it go.
And I'm like, wow, just like recognizing some things, even just over these last few months. I'm like, wow, I feel like again, probably what I told you about that shiny object syndrome and that network marketing company. It was like, that was it. I'm like still holding on to something that's comfortable and I'm not fully, I mean, now I'm like, Kelly, let's fucking go. Like, I'm ready. And with relationships too, it's like dating and everything. I'm like, okay, Cal, you keep attract, like, although the caliber of men have gotten better, it's improved, you're still attracting what
Mm.
you're not wanting.
What are you attracting right now? Curious.
Well, people that are just not choosing me back. Like it's kind of which is good in the sense that they're very quick to be like, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm like, can we at least try?
Yeah. Yeah. So can we give this the old college try, Brady?
Yeah, can we just give it a try? Like, let's go on a few dates. Let's get to know each other. Like, what are you basing your decision off of? Like,
Mm.
what
Mm.
about me is not, because some of these people have been friends of mine, and we were trying to explore a romantic attraction.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, well, you obviously know me, and you became physically attracted to me, and or you were physically attracted to me, and you liked what you were seeing. Like, okay.
It takes a powerful man to hold a powerful woman. And I was on the phone yesterday to one of my best friends, Ashley Stahl, and we were having this exact same conversation. It's like you are a powerful mofo, right? And so it's going to take a man of equal power, but different power to be able to hold you in your greatness. And if not, men will be like, oh shit, I'm afraid of that. And then they'll make it about something else. I'm not ready, or but whatever it is. Right. And I get to have a lot of conversations with a lot of my female friends about this very thing of, men not being able to hold the full power of like a fully embodied, powerful woman who's like here to fuck some shit up,
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like holding the vision for like the man who can like fully meet you in your power and is not afraid of it. Like Eric is like not fucking afraid of me at all, Like, he's like, oh, that's cute. You know what I'm saying? He like fully like permissions my power and honors it, but it doesn't intimidate him,
That's awesome.
And so it's like finding that, and that was the first time that I found that, where every guy that I dated before him, there was always a power dynamic. There was always something interesting going on. And so it's like finding like a really embodied man who is like so unshakable in his power can hold you in all of your power.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. Okay, yeah, I feel better.
And it's, it's the same thing with business. It's the same thing, it's the same. I have I run a mastermind called the Life Mastermind, which stands for Lucrative, Impactful, Fun, and Easy. And it's for women who are here to do business in the new way, right? Prioritizing energy over strategy and making millions without it burning out our nervous system. And it's so interesting to see the different pathways of my clients of like, oh, that's showing up in relationships. It's probably showing up somewhere in our business as well, right? Of like, yeah, us not fully owning our power, so then other people can't handle our power.
Yeah, yeah. And I resonate with that, obviously. And, I think I just get with the relationship stuff, it's like there's a part of me, I know that, like, I'm not fully stepped into my power yet. And so, of course, I haven't attracted that type of man who can hold it. However, it's just, it's like frustrating because it's like, but I want them to be it. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, granted, yeah, when I meet the person, it won't ever matter or anything, but it's just like that initial, just like rejection feeling and the pain of the rejection. And it's like, I'm done. Like, I don't want that anymore. But granted, I have to look at the mirror reflection. I'm like, okay, Kelly, what parts of you are you rejecting? Where are you not fully showing up for yourself? And
sometimes it's not rejection, sometimes it's redirection.
Correct. Oh yeah, for sure. It's always redirection.
Like, oh, that bro wasn't the one over here. Yeah, no, but I hear you, dude. I spent 6 years being single and dating, and like they were some of like the greatest years of my life, and also some of the most frustrating years of my life. And I think there's just so much to learn on the path of like finding the one, and there's so much to learn about ourselves, and there's so much to learn about other people. It is a truly fascinating initiation to go through, for sure.
It is. It is. It is easier for me to let go this time around. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like that's fine. But yeah, there's definitely just some work that I am still processing and that some deep inner unworthiness wounds going on, but it's all a journey and I'm here for it. And every little bit of healing that I do and awareness that I have, it just helps me again kind of step more into that power and unleash that and unlock it. So
100%. It's like little by little by little by little by little, right?
Yeah. It's funny. Oh, sorry. What'd you say?
Like one day we wake up, we're like, whoa, here we are. So
yeah. I had a astrology reading done one time, like a natal chart, but it was from the Mayan calendar, and I've only ever had like the Western calendar.
Oh yeah.
And so it was highly fascinating. And anyways, there's a part of me, I mean, granted, I don't need to be fixated on this, and I'm not, but it just pops up for me because he told me the year of like 2025 was going to be like my best year ever. And I'm like, okay, well then this all makes sense why things are the way that they are right now. Okay, it's coming.
Totally. You're like, okay. But you know what's interesting? Like we're such powerful creators. So even having that frame of mind, like you are creating that. And you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I can be patient because 2025 is going to be the best year ever. So I'm going to be patient in this little waiting portal. And I'm going to, even if it's not true, you're going to make it true because we create our reality.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So one more question about the breath work. Why I know that people have different experiences with it. Like, for example, me, every time that I do it, I get extremely sweaty, but then also I'm cold. Like I have a blanket on, so I'm cold, but I get really sweaty. And I'm crying like someone died in front of my face. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
a very sad emotional experience for me. But then I remember you saying like you may cry, you may laugh, you may have an orgasm, like things like that. So like why?
Yeah, it's like there's no why to it. It's just what the body needs to process that the mind can't comprehend, right? And so this morning, well, so I'm doing yesterday to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I was like, I feel like doing an hour-long session for 3 days in a row. So I'm doing that. Yesterday, my session was like purely physical. I felt like my hands cramp and I felt different parts of my body tighten, and there was no emotion at all. It was just like very physical for an hour. Today, within like 3 minutes, I was breathing and I was bawling, like crying, like shedding, releasing, letting go. And I had no idea why I was crying, but what I know is my body needed to metabolize that energy for me to feel back in my power and feel lighter again, right? And so the body is going to give us whatever the body needs to process or heal or awaken in that moment. And our job is just to surrender to the breath and surrender to that path and not make meaning around it. And when we can do that, we have this beautiful relationship with the breath. So now every day I do 20 minutes of breath work. The last couple of days I've been doing an hour just because why the hell not? But every single session is so different. Some of them are very physical, some of them are very emotional, some of them I feel so much frustration and rage. Others of them I feel like on top of the world. It's like whatever is happening, we're somatically experiencing it, so it releases from the body. Right? What's coming is going. So if we're feeling angry, that's anger releasing. If we're feeling sadness, that's sadness releasing.
Hmm. I love that. I was just about to ask you how often you do it, but it's every day for 20 minutes is a typical.
Yeah, every day for 20 minutes. So I wake up and that's kind of like the first thing that I do in the morning. And then I'll do it throughout the day, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I always do like a little one before I go to bed. But yeah, every day in the morning.
That's so neat. And you do, what was it, holotropic breath? Is it
So
still?
holotropic is a brand of breath work. So the breath pattern that I do in the morning is under the Pause brand, and it's called the tri-active breath. So it's into the belly, up into the chest, out through the mouth. And then I just circulate that. And I just keep moving that through the body. And there's, for those of you who are not on the app, there's a free 14-day trial on the app. If you just search Pause Breathwork in the Apple Store, and there's all sorts of different, like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 25 minutes, 45 minutes, and all different patterns and all different music and whatever you are, whether you want to like open your heart or clear your stress or tap into your power or release anxiety. There's all different types of tracks on there that you can check out.
That's neat. That's amazing. I'm gonna check it out. I don't know if I knew you had an app.
Yeah, we do.
Now I do. That's amazing. Well, tell people where they can find you. Thank you so much for being here. I mean, obviously I'm a fan of your work, so thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. So my Instagram at Samantha Skelly is where you can find most things. If you desire to be a Pause Breathwork facilitator, just go to pausebreathwork.com. And if you want to download the app, it's just pause.app. That's all the links for you.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, thank you so much. And I'm so proud of you and excited for your journey and thousands and thousands of more people whose lives you're going to transform. So it's really cool to be a witness to that.
Thanks, babe. Thanks for having me on. This has been so fun.
Absolutely. Yay. If you loved this episode, please download, share, rate, and review. If you are ready to step into that next level version of you and grow your business and bank account, it's time to unleash your goddess magic and chase life with Kelly. You can start this epic expansion journey by diving into the Goddess Magic course bundle found at chaselifetogether.com. Please connect with me on Instagram at Chase Life with Kelly. Join the Chase Life with Kelly Facebook community and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Till next time, create the life you crave, babe, and chase life with Kelly.